Hello, Pisces friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Pisces August 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. So much to talk about this month, including and especially, we are going to have an eclipse in Pisces, which is starting off from now until early 2027 of a Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that is going to be targeting you. So we're definitely going to be talking about that, but there are so many other things to discuss. We've got Mercury retrograde, things to note there. We've got a blue moon, the second in a row, which is very unusual. So I'm just going to take this piece by piece to layer in all of the things that I think will be most important for you to help you make the most of this month and make it the best possible. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Pisces placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're very late degree Pisces friends, so birthdays like around March 15th through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aries report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So the thing about the Pisces eclipse is the headliner is the biggest thing. And because of that, I'm going to save it until later, because once I get started on that, it's going to be hard for me to come off of it. So we've got a lot of other things to discuss that are shorter term, less monumental, but very important to know for this month. And then we'll build up to these big long-term themes that are starting now. One point to make before I start is that the eclipse is actually in September. It's September 17th at 25 degrees of Pisces. But the reason why we have to discuss it in the August report is because eclipse season starts at least 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse. So if we're not talking about it now, things are going to be happening for you, to you, in your life, and you won't understand them. And they might not be explained until you start hearing about them in September. So it's really important that we cover this now, because the changes that can come will be very big. All right, so now let's talk about more of the mundane things then, but are still exciting and still full of opportunities and possibilities, and we'll build our way up to the big events. The first thing to know is that this month is full of Leo energy. This is bright, vibrant, fiery, very focused on self-expression, giving you opportunities for fun and frolic and pleasure. This is the type of energy that brings in romance. It brings in sizzling hot opportunities in all kinds of areas of life. This also can strongly light up the energy of children. So your own children, if you're wanting to have a child, or if you have children, that sector can be very, very well lit up for you. And if you work with children, this could also be highlighted at this point. I always call Leo energy bucket list energy because it's ruled by the sun, and we're ruled by the sun in general. We're in a heliocentric reality in our solar system. So when the energies are in Leo, this is about expression. This is about creation. This is about manifestation. This is about our active role as a co-creator with the universe for our reality. And it has so much to do with where we shine. I always like to describe this energy as what makes us feel like we're lifting up like a sunflower to the sun. You know, when your cells in your body just lift up, smiling up to the sun. Those things that make you feel that way are very much happening this month. And either they will come in naturally as a result of the energies, or you can conjure them. Knowing that this is happening, you can return back to something that was super fun for you. You can return something back to something that was exhilarating for you. And the energy of Mercury retrograde is present all month. So from August 4th through August 28th, we are in the retrograde. From July 17th up until August 4th, we're building into the retrograde. And from August 28th until September 12th, we're fading away from it. So this whole month is covered in this energy, which brings us backwards and inwards, deep into yourself, inwards into other people and deep connections close to you, and also backwards. So people from the past, projects from the past, things that you love from the past. So everything we're going to talk about for this month is going to have a tilt to the past. Blasts from the past, ideas from the past, inspiration from the past, something that you were excited about before, but you had to abandon for one reason or another, may come back in. And that could be on the topic of something that makes you feel like that sunflower, like we talked about. So all of that is happening this month. Now, specifically for Pisces, Leo energy accentuates the 6th house of Virgo. And you're going to hear me talk about Virgo energies more than just now, because not only do the Leo energies light up the Virgo sector for you, that's the 6th house in the chart. And by the way, if you're interested in the visuals for this, I will give at the end a run through of the things that I touched on, the visual version, for those of you who are interested in the visual. And for those of you who aren't, I'll tell you when to sign off so that you don't have to participate in that. But I will tell you that sometimes when I'm looking at the chart, I think of other things that I didn't tell you before, and I wind up adding more. But in any case, so the Virgo house for Pisces is being lit up by the Leo energies, fiery, excited, enthusiastic. And then as the sun and Venus move from Leo into Virgo, and actually Mercury will retrograde back into Leo. So that will be some extra energy. And then, of course, on August 4th, we've got the new moon in Leo also. So all of that energy in the sixth house, then fading into the sign of Virgo, because the sun will move there as the month goes on. Virgo will move there as the month goes on. You've got both signs and house energy lit up for Virgo is the point. So what I'm about to talk about here has multiple layers, okay? Virgo energy is your daily routine. Combined with the Leo energy, this can mean an enrichment to your daily routine, something new, something refreshing, a new way of doing things, new habits. Or you could go back to old habits that really worked for you. This can also center around your health and your wellness. And if you're having issues with your health or wellness, having elucidation with what it is that's exactly going on. Okay, so you may be having this front and foremost, or first and foremost in your mind. This can also be, this can have to do with your organization or lack thereof. You might get this urge to spruce up your space or activate new organization efficiency in your daily routine. You may decide that all of your old routines are really not working for you, and you may go back to something that worked in the past, or you may have some new life breathed into them. But this is very much about the things that you do every day. And while you may travel far and wide, and this energy will still be present no matter where you are, what you're doing, there is this focus on what you do every day. So your pets, your animals, your home routine, your work routine, your work dynamics, your office dynamics, your desk, those kind of things. And this can very much be about unfinished business and clearing up clutter and clearing out and making ready for the new. So, so that's very exciting. Virgo also gives great discipline. And with the Leo party, that's sort of like, as the month begins, we're in this kind of opening up to fun, opening up to frolic, opening up to the self-expression. And then as the month goes on, is kind of like getting back to business, getting back to a schedule, getting back to routine. For those of you who have kids, this is kind of, you see this happen as the summer changes into, fall. Or for those of you down under, as the winter changes into spring. But if you have the same school schedule, there's this like last bits of fun before you kind of get down to the nitty gritty and the grind. So you'll see that and you'll feel that transition through the month. But if you need something involving discipline, as the month progresses, you may notice that you have more of that, more discipline, more wherewithal, more focus, less distractions as the month progresses. Okay, so I did mention it, but I want to mention again, August 4th is the new moon in Leo. So time to make your new moon wishes along all the ideas of things that I talked about with Leo, the romance, your bucket list, your self-expression, anything like that. And then we'll talk about the full moon later, because that's kind of a big one. All right, so let's see what else. So as the planets move into Virgo, even though that sixth house is still being accentuated like we talked about, the planets themselves are moving into the Pisces seventh house. So seventh house is all about relationships. So this is the time of year where you've got a couple of months when the planets go through the seventh house and then the eighth house, which are the two big relationship houses. You're moving into this focus on other people and your relationship with other people. And the Virgo planets oppose your Pisces planet. So this is an opposition. So this makes you feel like you've got the balls up in the air, juggling them more than ever. This can cause, people needing stuff more than you feel like you can give, or people showing up for you, or you having your own projects but having to show up for other people. There's this kind of this push and pull in your me-we sector. And you may have new opportunities to revamp relationships or redo relationships or go back to unfinished business in relationships, or people from your past can come in new and meaningful ways. This is a time that's really great for experimenting, for trying things on. The Mercury retrograde energies are very much short-term type of energies. So there's this layer of things this month that makes it really good for short-term ventures, not trying to push something big out into the world. It's basically the time to sit on the shore and let the tides bring into you the people, the places, the experiences that you're supposed to be experiencing, rather than you pushing or conjuring or trying to push out. So if you're watching this early or listening to this early, like by July 17th, then you still have a time for pushing. But once we get to July 17th, this is the time to kind of chill out and let things come to you. And that's very much the cloak of the retrograde. As much as you can leave yourself unscheduled, all of August, that would be the best. If you've got stuff to do, you got to fit things in, that's fine. But you will notice that a lot of plans get called into question. Sometimes it ultimately will get canceled. A lot of rescheduling going on, a lot of time spent on the phone trying to reschedule plans that you made. So if you can give people a soft maybe, for a plan, so that you don't have to feel bad when something happens and you can't make it. And also similarly, people might be canceling on you, so you don't put too much stock in the things that people say they will do, because things are going to come up. So as I said, there's some element to a very short-term energy that's happening this month. So the decisions you make, the projects that you have, they're more kind of better in the backdrop, or better to wait for a better launch period, because it's a very internal energy. Now, as that's happening, we do have two things that are pending here that can be bringing long-term changes. But because of the combination of the energy, and that's the eclipse energies, and of course the big full moon, the blue moon also. But because of these kind of discordant energies, where some things are saying short-term and some things are saying long-term, what you'll likely see is that you see long-term changes about to happen, but you can't see how they're going to manifest. And there's information that you don't have. So there's like, this is happening, this may be coming, this is looming, but you don't know what to do with it, or you can't make a decision about it, or you don't have the information that you need to push forward, or you have to wait for things to unfold. And this month, August, is going to be very much about waiting for things to unfold. The information is starting to come in, the insights are starting to come in, the flashes of the future are starting to come in. But this is a time where frustration may come up because you have to wait for things to unfold. Things are coming to you and you either can't or don't know what to do with them. You have to wait for it to unfold. So this is a time of unfoldment. This is a time of infinite patience that you must have. And all of this is leading towards possibly some of the biggest changes you've experienced in your life. So let's start to move into that. August 19th, we have a full moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. This is the second full moon, blue moon. It's actually also a super moon, second blue moon in a row. This is unusual, okay, because there are actually different definitions of what makes a blue moon, and we have two different types of blue moons happening. So in July, we have a blue moon that's coming from a second full moon in Capricorn. So at the end of June, we had a 1 degree full moon in Capricorn. At the end of July, we have a 29 degree full moon in Capricorn. That makes that July blue moon, full moon, a blue moon. But the blue moon that we have here in August is called a seasonal blue moon. This is when it's the third of 4 blue moons in between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. Okay, so that's an astronomical definition. It's called a seasonal blue moon. So a seasonal blue moon is happening August 19th. But this is, very powerful because they're both kind of rare and they're both in a row. So that's really activating this time, July, August, leading into eclipse season with very profound change, long-term change, even here in the midst of the retrogrades. So for this particular blue moon, super moon, it will be closer to the earth. It will look bigger. The gravitational forces will be more profound. You will be feeling it. It will be highly emotional, even though it is in very objective Aquarius, air sign. For you specifically as a Pisces, this is going to be happening in your 12th house, your inner world, the house that's ruled by Pisces. So this is your deep dreams, your dreams at night, your deep unconscious mind, your psychological space, the place where between times, like the place between life and death, and between sleeping and waking, and between the past and the future, and between the seen and the unseen. All of that is getting highlighted with this blue moon. And in the days around the 19th, there's this powerful elucidation, something coming from the quiet, dark space, something coming from the hidden space. So big news might be coming in, major information might be coming in, big drama, big culmination, excitement. This is a house both of your karmic gunk. So there could be addictions, fears that come to light, that intensify at this time. Or it could be karmic gold. So things that you've had waiting inside of you to burst out into manifestation. That could be happening too. And sometimes by pushing through the gunk, you get to the gold. So, you could see a little bit of both here at this time. It could be the time to confront a fear or the time to deal with an addiction. And these things can be exacerbated or amplified, which could be making them a squeaky wheel, which could bring them out to be dealt with. This could be just a very big experience of something Aquarian, an accomplishment having to do with friends or groups or an internet-based project. It could be a humanitarian effort that comes to light, that culminates in something that you've been trying to do. So you'll see that happening around that time. And even though we're in the retrograde, even though this is a full moon, just like we have a full moon every month, this is not your typical full moon in not your typical time. And so you may see some more profound things starting to develop at this time for the longer term. Okay, so that's building us into the eclipses. This is our star of the month. This is our star of this time. We have been in the midst of an Aries Libra eclipse cycle that started in early 2023, which goes through around mid 2025. Me versus we. For Pisces, this has been highlighting your my money versus our money, my resources versus our resources, my stability and security versus our stability and security. Those energies have been highlighted and they will be coming up again. You will see continuations of storylines that began and possibly flared up, in April, May, and then kind of died into the backdrop, coming back up again in those arenas. And life-changing things could happen. Now we're adding in at the same time as we're doing this Aries Libra eclipse cycle, we're opening up this Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle, which is targeting you. So now profound changes occurring in everything that is your core from now into 2027. This is a long eclipse cycle. This is the beginning of the eclipse cycle, and it launches September 17th with the Pisces eclipse at 25 degrees of Pisces. Okay, so what does that mean? Eclipses in our sign highlight everything about that sign. So everything I talked about with the 12th house, the hidden realm, your psychological space, your genetic makeup, the cosmic soup, your dream world, profound psychological and spiritual healing, your spiritual connections. That can be a storyline that's coming up for you. And in the chart, the Pisces eclipses happen in the Aries house. This is the first house. And again, I'll show you the visual on this if you're interested in seeing what this looks like in the chart later on. But the first house of Aries, having an eclipse in the first house, is activating yourself, your individuality, your physical body, your reputation, what you call yourself, how people know you, anything having to do with what you put out into the world, how people see you. This is an energetic of fresh and new. Aries is the baby of the zodiac. And whenever we have eclipses in our sign, it's like we're reborn again. So you've got this succession of energetics that will help you to be reborn in a new form, very much like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And because you also have Saturn and Neptune in the sign that the eclipse is happening, and Neptune is actually quite close to this particular eclipse. And Neptune rules Pisces. There is this, this energy of the shadow world, of the quiet world, but it's coming out. It's coming out through your physical body. It's coming out through your movement. It's coming out through your health. It's coming out through your redefinition of what it is that you do and what your purpose is here. Eclipses are very, very, very much related to karmic experiences, clearing out of old negative karma, karmic patterns, things you've been seeing for all of this lifetime. And if you believe in past lives, would have been happening in previous lifetimes. Even if you don't believe in past lives, there is still room here for past life karma to be relevant for you, because we have past life karma that comes to us through our genetics. So we could be experiencing something medically or something emotionally or something, on other levels that is coming to us from the past, from something that a relative went through. So, so past life can take on many different meanings, and it's very much at play at this time. But what the eclipses are most about is our highest expression in this lifetime. Okay, so one of the greatest opportunities that you have August, September, October, opening up this new way of being, is for you to step into your highest expression in this lifetime. And a lot of times that has to do with leaving behind the things that are not working, leaving behind the karmic gunk, leaving behind anything that is, a challenge that is standing between you and your highest expression. Now, a lot of that karma is also going to be coming from your relationships, because the Pisces Virgo polarity highlights for Pisces the first and seventh house, which is the me we house, which is the same energy that the Aries Libra eclipse cycle is bringing up. So Pisces is not getting out of me versus we and those storylines and codependency and interdependency and independence and autonomy versus merging. These storylines are woven so deeply for you in the short term, extra energy because the Virgo planets are flooding your seventh house. In the long term, because of the Aries Libra eclipse cycle at play, because of the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle highlighting your first and seventh houses, this is a time where you truly will redo, regenerate, reconsider everything about how you do relationships with yourself and others. And many aha moments will happen. You might come to terms with mistakes you made in the past and forgive yourself and have another chance. You may forgive other people, which can actually improve your health dramatically. You can get support from other people in ways that you've never even believed you could. You could show up for other people in new and growing ways. These are just some of the ways these eclipse energies can really change your life, and it can send you on a whole different trajectory, including your work, your vocation, because even though these aren't vocational houses, well, actually Virgo energy is a vocational house, but from the perspective of where they're falling in your chart, this is focused on who you are. So who you are, or who you really believe you are, maybe you are wearing the mask because you went to school to do what your parents said to get a good job, and you've been doing this whatever for however long, but you really know that you are a musician, or you really know that you are an artist, or you're an artist that really realizes you have a penchant for science as well, and now you want to become, a veterinarian or whatever it is. But there is something brewing that can radically change everything about your life, your relationships, your direction, what you do for work. And this may involve new lines of education as well. So anything along the lines of redefining yourself can be very broad, very very far reaching. So obviously, there's a lot going on here. I am going to go into the charts here in a second. I just want to alert you to, if you're not in my free VIP community, you may want to join that, because as we're in eclipse season, I will be connecting my free VIP community in with eclipse resources to also better understand the eclipses and to really understand all of the levels of what's happening with these eclipses, and it can be very profound. So you can go to anniehelpsyou.com and just put your name and email address in there, and you can get all kinds of information, including many other dates to know for this month. Okay, so you can get my August report if you go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, you'll get the welcome letter. Unless it goes to spam, you'll have to move it into your inbox. Then you put your, look for the archive link, and then put in August 2024 astrology. Okay, and there you will see my whole write-up of the month with all kinds of dates to watch out for that we haven't talked about yet. Also, all kinds of dates, including my favorite aspects of the month. Okay, so you'll get more info there, and you'll get more information about the eclipses as they come. Okay, so now I'm going to drop in the visuals for the chart. If you're going now, then bye. I'll see you next month. If you're staying for the visuals and possibly some other things I may think of, then I'm going to drop that in now. Okay, so just a quick look at the things that we talked about. Here is all of that Leo energy highlighting your sixth house. Venus pretty quickly in the month, and then the sun later in the month will move into Virgo, into the 7th house, and Mercury will retrograde back in the 6th house. So these two houses will be very well lit up this month with long-term and short-term energy. And then the sun will get here, and Venus will get here, and Mercury will go there. The 7th house is your house of relationships. It's one of the two big relationship houses. So after the Virgo planets gets in here, as they move on, into October, September, October, September, this 8th house will be lit up. That's the next relationship house. So you've got a long string of that energy, plus the eclipse. Oh, and by the way, the new moon is here in the 6th house. Okay, so the me-we energies are the 1st and 7th houses. 1st is me, 7th is we. The Aries Libra eclipse cycle is accentuating these. But guess what? Now, since you've got Pisces as Pisces in your 1st house and Virgo in your 7th house, the new eclipse cycle will also be highlighting that energy. So you're not getting out of me versus we storylines. And because of all of that Virgo energy in the 7th house, you've got extra partnership energy. So if you want to make changes in your relationship space, if you want to make changes in your relationship with yourself, this is an amazing time to do that. We also have long-term Saturn, long-term Neptune there with, so basically a lot is undergoing massive change in the house of your identity. That full moon, super moon, lunar eclipse, blue moon on the days around the 19th of August is here in your 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces and Neptune. That's your, well, we've talked about that extensively, but in any case, here it is, your deep hidden world, something becoming elucidated there. And then the Aries Libra eclipse cycle is highlighting the 2nd and 8th houses, like we talked about. So there's the visual on that. If you want to know important dates this month, my best dates of the month and my ones to look out for, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click receive. Go into your inbox. If it's not directly in there, the welcome letter, look in spam, move it in. Then you go click on the archive link, put Astrology, August 2024 Astrology, and you will find my very extensive written write-up of this month, including all of the aspects, my salty dates, sweet dates, etc. So you can find all that there. Plus, as there's eclipse info developing, I will be giving my free VIP community that. I do have a double blue moon that's going on until the end of August. And so if you want to take my Astrology Certification Course, basically for registering for this course, you will get every other class in my school for free with your registration for this course. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. As you scroll down, you can click on up level, or you can go directly to www.beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.